Sanibonani Makaya, Rale amogela gape mo Rise. We share the world with other people. We live together, work together, and play together. Yet, for the most part, we hardly know how to communicate effectively with each other. Mo buisegong ba kajeno, re bua ka communication skills. Dumelang, my co-host, le kae kajeno? So, ke kopa go le botsa gore lona ko gae ha le gola, batsadi ba lona ne ba communicate yang, and batsadi ba lona ne ba communicate yang le lona. Gore ne ba communicate yang pele amongst themselves. Mama le papa ha ba bua ka mo, assuming that you were raised by mama le papa, and then le lona gape as bana.
It was great. My parents always talked about everything. They were always talking. And I remember I liked this guy and I was very young. And I was free to ask my dad, and I was free. So communication and it was something that was encouraged.
And is it still the same now?
It's still the same. My dad is like a best friend. I talk to him about almost everything.
I like the almost part. Can you
and we had an open communication, good communication. I think basically, discipline, communication, high right. You know, I just think that much.
Now I grew up talking a lot. I still do. But I don't think communication is and I don't think the skills that I learned about how to communicate were very good ones. And I don't even think Hori ne communicator in a very effective way, you know. And I think while we can laugh about Omangwa, I also think that a lot of what in my home was disciplining. And sometimes using very harsh and very negative words. You know, they really mean that.
Sure.
You know, and also role modeling particularly about feelings. So you never hear people talk about, you know, I was so encouraged by when you did this, or, you know, I was so unsure, or I was so hurt. It's like every communication about feelings, it's very emotional.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And then people say things. And you know, when a parent says some words,
That can scar you.
you know what I mean? It's like,
and we don't
how do
realize
you-
that as parents,
yeah, including what parents say to each other.
Yeah.
To this day, you know, if I can talk about something that was regrettable about my upbringing, that was that part, yeah, communication, you know.
But the problem is that it's a one-way street.
Exactly.
How you are supposed to just sit there and take it, basically.
Yeah.
And it can go on and on. So I made fun of you a little bit earlier, Kanye, but it can be very negative. And up to more negative even than Khoshapiwa maybe sometimes. Because I never, ever, ever, ever got hit as one. But but sometimes then I think maybe banaba haba chikiwi enough. Wait. But anyway, like you said, ribuaka communication skills and when I think about it, it's there wasn't much communicating going on because and how mamele wa chikiwa. So it's not like you were encouraged to bua. I was encouraged to read. I was encouraged to, if things then it was something that was encouraged. But outside of that, not really.
The problem is that at times, and it's very difficult to this day.
Sure.
You know, because hey, abanchika, abanpanisha for so it almost eliminates that trust. When we do something wrong, we really need you to be understanding more than.
So how about communicating outside of the home? What about how we're no communicator yang kamontle? The officing, are you very different than you are at home, Ramafok?
Maybe a little bit better. But with me, I'm very open and I'm very brave to say some of the things that I have to, but also professional. A meeting is not the same as a social a space. What I find though, which is because outside we are so many cultures, particularly Miracle. You know, you never know what may offend somebody from the same orientation.
Sure.
Now, what I struggle with is the non-verbal communication. I find that intimidated or and like what Chief pointed out, communication is not only about kulum. So that is true because and how to put across my points, but then I was never taught how to make a person feel open and warm towards me, like I'm a gestures me. Those non-verbal communication skills I was never taught.
Well, so I still do those things. I was often told, that went out of the window. And it's just like, because at school it was a different thing of being loud and proud, because it makes you confident. And then at home, and then whenever humble. So it didn't work out. Sorry, Mom.
All right. When we come back, we'll be joined by Sheree Halley, an educator and applied theatre facilitator, to talk more about communication. Let's get remote. Ew.
Sanamukela futhi. Ukhanyenele kubahlezi sofeni Sheree Halley. Asizokuthi bakhuluma bathini namhlanje. Over to you guys.
Thank you, Mbali. Welcome to the show, Sheree.
Hi.
So Sheree, before we have this lovely chat, our team visited the Rise Young Women's Club in Northwest to check out a workshop they did on communication. Let's have a look.
Hi guys, I am here at Makospan Village, Northwest, where we are about to do a workshop on communication. So I will be facilitating the workshop. There's a role play, some exercises, icebreakers, games, just to make sure the girls, get a chance to communicate and just express themselves. Let's go in.
Hi, Libisola Kakika Mokate from Makospan Village. For now, you're taking at the communication talk show. We started the exercises are on sharp. Then after, it's the short story.
And I'm from Northwest, Mafikeng, Ward 25, and I'm from a team called Invisible Ladies. It's a supporting group for the teenagers study since well, really the different issues really yalo khona go thusana yang and if almost situation in everything o khona go bereka yang.
Stop. Touch her. Would you do something differently? What would you do instead of touching?
La moga ga workshop mo ba ruta gore re ha re le mo mathateng o khona go tswa mo mathateng and o khona go handle yang a particular situation la o tlile botlhoko sa khona go heta motho beke mare bo helong khona go kry solution ya batho botlho go le fetse le phile shapo go ne le kutlwano gareng ga lona.
So now can you see the situation? How would you do this differently?
So we have to make them feel at home.
Right, communication. So Sheree, can you take us through the different kinds of communication and how they work?
Okay, well, I think that there are 3 ways that one communicates. The first would be verbal. So what are you saying? how are you saying it? What are you hearing and how are you listening to someone? And then there would be like the non-verbal way of communicating. And that's a lot to do with body language, the way I'm sitting. Like right now you can see I'm closed off, I'm nervous, I'm not that open with my body. And then the visual. So what do you look like? And what is your choice of dress telling us, communicating to us that can see you? And I would say those are the three ways that we communicate daily.
Okay. Now, you know, our show and our clubs are for young women between the ages of 15 and 24. And a lot of times, young women and even children must be seen and not heard. How does that affect how they communicate and how they assert themselves?
I grew up in a home like that as well. My grandmother was very strict on children being seen and not heard. But I think what comes with that is when a child is being outspoken in the home and they're being punished for it, the result is that a child then, when they are out in the world at a much older age, they're reminded of that. And I think this affects young people in job interviews, in even communicating within a relationship. So for me, I find that it perpetuates gender-based violence in the home. Now you're with your lover, you're with your partner, you're with your husband, and you are reminded that you must be seen and not heard.
But then how do you overcome that?
I think that parents need to almost shift as times shift. I think that adults need to shift. The same way I feel like parents need, children need to shift, but I feel like adults also need to make an adjustment in the way the world is adjusting.
How exactly do we recognize the difference between good and bad communication in ourselves and in others?
If we remind ourselves that we are constantly communicating a message in our bodies, in the way we dress, in the way we speak. I only have one chance to present myself in a certain way. Let me do it right. And the way we recognize bad communication in others, I think, is really through the way that they might aggressively express themselves. I find that to be very bad communication, and we can recognize when someone is communicating that of a violent nature, that perhaps this person doesn't understand me. We can't speak gently to each other. We can't speak clearly to each other. And when you're listening to someone, and you're not listening to what they're saying, but you're listening with the intention of, what am I going to say back? What am I going to respond back? And that's one way we can recognize bad communication within ourselves, is that I'm not listening to your story. I'm actually listening, trying to think of, what can I respond? How can I respond?
Would you say that is not communication? I mean, we are talking, but we are not communicating.
I would say
when I'm listening to
you,
I would say it's poor communication.
Okay, so you would say listening is as important as you expressing yourself.
Yes, I think that modeling is a good way for parents to teach their children. Modeling is a good way for us to learn from each other in general spaces in the world. And I think humility is a big thing when it comes to communication. And you know, humility isn't about thinking less of yourself, but it's thinking less of yourself and thinking about the other person. So when we're having this conversation and I'm the loudmouth and I'm the one that wants to talk all the time, I got to think about the others. I got to be humble in a sense so that others in this conversation can be heard.
Can you take us through how you talk or how you speak?
Well, you'd notice from myself already, my hands move.
Yes.
And I have a background in South African Sign Language, so the way I communicate with deaf people is a big part in my communication strategy with hearing people. But I think that this gestural language can sometimes offend others. It might be a bit too much in your space.
Like
and something that my mother does a lot when she speaks is use her finger. And she likes to speak like this. And that for me is dominating. And it's almost it suppresses the other person. Like, you need to listen to me. So when we look at the nitty-gritties of communication between mother and child or between two women, I think that our bodies, we need to be aware of the way our bodies are communicating because we don't want to give the wrong impression. Another mistake that young women do when they're having a debate, when they're having a conversation that's very heated, is to raise their voices. And now we want to speak louder because we think that it's going to prove our point better.
Yeah, but what do you train people when you talk about tone and all of that and voice control?
I think the main thing in teaching voice is about trying to understand your voice. So understand how loud your voice gets, and you already know you can only get louder. You have a loud voice, but it's about understanding your voice, understanding a particular, when I'm speaking in a particular tone, how that may affect others, and also clarity. That helps in interviews when we're talking about the larger areas of our life, work and job interviews. Understanding your voice helps you understand that right now I'm in an interview, and speaking like this is not going to help anyone. You know? It's not going to help anyone. How do I clarify what I'm saying through the clarity and pronunciation of what I'm saying?
Okay, thank you so much, Sheree, for coming today. Wish you the best with your future. We'll be back right after the break. Do stay tuned.
Namgelekile futhi. So as you know, ireason yale show ukuthi abantu abadala bakwazi ukukhuluma nabantwana abancane. And ngifuna ukwazi ukuthi labo sisehlezi nabo umama sihlezi nabo, what do they think about it?
I think it's important. I mean, I think one of the things that I wish I had had in my own life is that open communication, particularly with my mother, where I wouldn't be afraid to talk to her. Because I think even right now, who do young people look up to? And sinokabang ukuthi ama celebrity or abantu abaphuma kwi-TV. In fact, the best approval that any child needs is that approval of a parent, and it comes when there has been open communication. But I'm also now, as a parent, understand that it is not the easiest of things to do. It is not the easiest. So if you were not taught how to communicate, it even becomes much more difficult for you as a parent to have that open communication. It's certainly not for the faint-hearted.
You know, everything said is the ideal. Open communication with our parents, open communication with older people, but that is actually very difficult. And I really don't see how it's going to happen. Like, it was difficult for you to speak to your mother, you know? And the thing about it is that we've been raised in this whole thing of to have respect for adults. And to tell the truth, that respect is kind of fear. I'm not sure if it's a respect thing, you know? Because we are scared to speak to you guys. You're going to scorn us, or we are afraid to speak to adults. Even now, it's like sitting here with the CEO of Soul City and someone who has so much experience is difficult. You guys are my mother's age. This show is not easy to do because it's like, can I say certain things in front of them? You know, I'm not speaking to you in the same tone that I would speak to Mbali. I'm not speaking to you about the same things that I would speak to Mbali about, you know? But it's very difficult to achieve open communication intergenerationally.
We are also, or adults are also learning how to communicate to young people.
Yes.
You must remember that we were brought up in very different eras altogether. Our parents were also brought up in a different era. It's worse. Now, I'll be very honest with you. Just struggle like very simple things. I'm like, okay, so what made you think that you know, riditaka, you know, but also our kids are growing up in a different culture. So that is why we've established these young, Rise Young Women's Clubs, because I think we want them to be safe spaces for young women to communicate with each other and perhaps raise their issues as a collective rather than as individuals when they find it difficult.
Let me give you a tip of how to communicate effectively with young people. In fact, to all adults out there. I think one thing is that you guys must genuinely try to understand. Adults always say, yeah, I understand, Mari. You guys don't listen enough.
Can I just say another thing about this communication is about trust. What I realize is the more kichika batho, the more basan trusty. Gore am somebody o logical o ilong gore ba ka khona go dula le ena ba re yes, logical, empathetic. It's trust. It's like every time o chika ngwana you break a certain trust and a certain bond e ilong gore ke mogolo mo wena ha ke batlang ka go shapa ha ke batlang ka go chika. So what I regret the most is sometimes not with the young people around me is that, oh, I've broken that bond a little bit. It's not all the time. And I'm a pretty cool auntie for the most part. Is marnete bad. Sometimes, but how break the bond back.
And that's true. I find that abantu abadala ba enforce authority and then ba maqeda bafuna ukuthi sikwazi ukukhuluma nawe. Ngizokwazi ukukhuluma nawe kanjani?
Ngikwazi ukukuchika.
Yabona, ngiyazi ukuthi if I could say something wrong auntie uzongichika like ingenza ukuthi ngisabe ukukhuluma.
Askis. Mara uzokhula nawe mbali. That's the thing about this.
Very good.
No. All I'm saying is the fact that you would also understand what those challenges are.
Yeah.
You know, I think every parent wants to be a good parent out there, and everybody wants to role model all of the good things that we have, and it's challenging.
Okay, let's talk about the good stuff then. Can we something? I feel like Real Luana.
She's like, yeah, be intimidated.
Real Luana. So let's end on a good note.
Yeah.
What is, you know, because we're talking about when we don't communicate well. And when are we good about communicating? I think we're fantastic at giving each other compliments, particularly because we know we all have the insecurities eating. So that's when I think we communicate well. It's like, girl, I like your pants. And how you, we're very good like that. That hug mentality. And then we're going to pull each other up where we're not most sparkling. What about you guys?
I think when we're comforting each other, we're pretty good at that. Like when one of us is not having a good day, we're pretty good at, are you okay, Lebo? Do you want to talk about it? Or are you okay, Kanye Komotsumba? So that we have on lockdown. Shine to us. Yay!
Meaning is when I'm doing something good and you recognize it. Right. And you can actually tell me, I'm proud of you. That builds my esteem. Communicate now. But then as soon as shut it down, then it changes.
I agree with you. I think positive affirmation, we all need it.
Absolutely.
Regardless, you always need somebody to say, wow, that was good.
And really that goes the same for you guys, by the way.
Yeah.
I love the way you like to add break.
You are welcome, darling. Thank you very much. Thank you for everything. Thank you for joining us today. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Remember that communication is all-encompassing and not just in your mouth. Make every moment count. Remember to follow us on Twitter, share your thoughts with us on Facebook, and continue the conversation on Mix It Reach. Retla lebona beke e latelang from all of us. Bye. Woof, woof.